All right, welcome back. It is another edition of the Isaiah Thomas Show, and we welcome in none other than Isaiah Thomas, the show's namesake. And Isaiah, great to have you back. Huge win against Texas over the weekend, and now looking forward to TCU. And I'm sure, like we're always trying to be honest with the audience. We're not trying to pull the wool over anybody's eyes or pretend like things aren't going on.
Right.
So it's been an interesting week. Obviously, Lincoln Riley had his press conference yesterday, and I think I need to kind of explain this. Like, I feel like I've turned into like your own press agent in a way, because I let you know the stuff that's going on in the world that might be a little crazy, because you have better things to do. Like we talked about last week, you're not on Twitter all the time. I mean, you see stuff if it comes across. A lot of people are talking about it. I don't know if you've been online today or not. But so what happened was a report surfaced yesterday, the OU Daily, that basically said that they were watching practice and they were tallying up how many snaps that Caleb Williams was taking with the first team. Of course, all kinds of rumors floated around on Monday about Spencer Rattler and whether he was still with the team. And then Lincoln told us yesterday that he gave him the day off on Monday to explain that. And then this stuff comes out with the OU Daily, and the administration shuts down all media for not Lincoln Riley. I think that's important to say, because people know that I've kind of gotten in some hot water over my comments about Lincoln Riley and media in the past. I don't know if you know this, but I'm kind of a jerk sometimes. But Lincoln Riley did not do this. It was the administration. And like I said, I know you don't pay attention to this stuff, because unless you had media scheduled and then they told you, okay, you're not doing it now, you probably had no idea anything was going on today.
Yeah, like you said, like you said, Riley gave Spencer the day off Monday. As we all knew, he wasn't there, because him and Coach Riley talked, and, they made their decision, which is between them. And then, like you just said, like today, I had no idea. For one, because I didn't have media today, and two, when you told me that, let me know, I was new to it, just as any other player on the team was. I had no idea. Then, when you told me, I was kind of confused by it. Didn't hear nothing. It wasn't out on Twitter. If it was, I didn't see it. But other than that, I had no idea, because it's just so much going around with just all the controversy. So I just try to stay out of it.
Well, and I think like I told you before this, like, you can ask me what's going on if you want to. I'll be happy to try and explain it to you. I don't really understand some of it, but it's just one of those deals. Some people got upset because they felt like some trust was violated because the student media watched practice from the journalism school, which you're not supposed to do, and most people know you're not supposed to do. So I thought it was an overreaction. I don't think anybody was going to make a big deal out of this today. But once again, it's not the end of the world. We're not going to stop getting paid. We're not going to stop being in the media. The game is still going to be played, which is really the focus. And I guess tomorrow all this will be, and I said it, as it was going on, like, I think this is kind of ridiculous. I think this is too much. And it gives the national media kind of a chance to pile on Lincoln Riley and be like, he didn't let Caleb talk after the Texas game, and people were upset about that. But again, like, Isaiah, there's so much drama that goes on. I imagine that it's got to be pretty easy for you guys to kind of just drown out, doesn't it? Because it just seems so stupid.
It is stupid, and it's easy to drown out, especially with us being so close. And like I said, like, we always break it down on family. Like, at the end of any practice or any workout, we always break it down on family. And we know what the media tries to do for the most part. The major news and the media, and they always try to be the first one to leak some news, or to be the first one to have the first clickbait, and try to separate us. And that's a big reason why we try to stay away from that, and just try to stay unified and together, because especially with they're both capable starting quarterbacks, and they just always compete. And any sign of controversy or adversity, someone wants to be the first to pick at it and say what's going on, to be the first to say what their opinion is on it. And we just try to stay away from it and stay unified, because that's what it matters.
Do you think that people don't give players enough credit sometimes? As much as guys are on social media, like, it's not really that big of a deal. Like, maybe the young guys that haven't been through this or came from small schools or something, but I got to think, for a guy like you and Nick and Perry that you're getting kind of used to this, that everything becomes World War III.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, every year that I've been here, it's always been some type of, media with some player in some situation, always tries to, make it bigger than what it is. And, within the walls of the locker room and in the weight room and the practice field, we know what's really going on and how the players are really acting and reacting to certain situations. So, it's like you said, it's always World War III with something, especially with OU being one of the biggest football programs in the nation. People always want to find a way to, pick at us and, find something to put out there.
Well, let me ask you, you're coming off of a Texas game, and let's kind of go back to that a little bit.
Yeah.
I want to talk about, some of the things that happened in that game, and I'll just kind of roll some footage here for you, and we can talk about it as, whatever you see that kind of strikes your fancy. There you are, getting your mind right for the game. No doubt Drake is in the headphones.
100%.
I can just tell, that, you're just way too into it. It's got to be Drake.
100%.
So, coming into this game, everybody kind of wondered what was going to happen with Bijan Robinson. We probably didn't talk about it enough last week, but basically, I think I should tell people this. Like, when you switched inside in the second half, and were a really big part of shutting him down, like, you take pride in that. You're not like a guy that's like, oh, I have to be out on the edge. I have to be on the glamour position. Like, you love the fact that people kind of consider you a versatile player.
Oh, 100%. I love that because, for the people who are just fans, don't really notice how big of a deal that is and how much that takes into a factor in the game. When you have a guy that's able to play on the edge and inside, it's real disruptive and it causes problems for offenses. And, they wouldn't necessarily admit it, but, I think as we all know, it caused problems for them offensively. And I love being able to be a faster guy, to be able to play on the inside and be able to produce on the edge and inside. And like you said, I'm not the type of guy who has to be on the edge. Like, nah, coach, you got to find somebody else or all this and that. I'm a team captain. I'm a team player for sure. And I'm good at what I do. I'm here for a reason. So definitely playing inside, I take a lot of pride in that.
So what I took out of that is, even though you're pretty, you like the dirty work.
You already know.
Well, let me throw this little highlight on, and you can tell me what your reaction was. It was a big play. It was 4th and 1. I have to imagine that you're in those situations. Are you paying attention because knowing whether you might have to go out on the field? So you guys, if it's 4th and 1, you're going for it. Are you just on the sideline, just ready to charge out there?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Like, we always, prepare for the worst, but expect the best, So whenever that situation comes up, coach always gets us ready. And most of the time, he doesn't even have to get us ready because Perrion will tell y'all himself that he loves those moments, being prepared to be back out there on the field. And just like me, I'm ready to be out there. Sometimes it can be a little, demoralizing at times, trying to get back out there after we just came off the field. But, it's what we have to do, and it's what we're here for.
Well, here's the play I was talking about, and this is the 4th and 1. Caleb Williams comes into the game for a play, breaks the long touchdown run. What were your thoughts as you're watching this on the sideline?
So initially, when they ran the play, I was like, okay. Once I seen it, how it was forming up and stuff, I was like, okay, this is a design play for Caleb, a draw up the middle, quarterback design, draw. So I'm like, okay. Then after, he broke those first tackles, so I'm like, okay, probably getting tackled. Then he just took off, like I've seen it before at practice, but when it's on this stage and at this level and him being a freshman, it was impressive. I'm on the side going crazy, like did that just happen? It calls itself Superman, and that was a Superman moment for him.
Obviously, he started playing even more as the game went along. I'm just curious, when that happens, I think we all could see it, or we all could kind of feel it a little bit, in that. It was something that was almost an electricity that was inside the stadium.
Oh, yeah. As you see all over Twitter and social media, people always say, they never seen a game like that with OU Texas history. You never seen the atmosphere like it, and it just sparked us. You could tell with how the defense ended up coming out in the second half, how the offense was rolling, caught their groove and stuff like that. And just, stuff like that just gets us going. And like I always say, I hate that we have to have a wake-up call or something to get us going. But, when it happens, it happens. You can't do nothing but make the most out of it. And just like that play, we made the most out of the rest of that game. And it's just, it was electric. It was fun to be in there.
Let me ask you, you mentioned, wake-up calls and things like that. Obviously, that game, it started out terribly.
Yeah.
And, we've talked about not, so much slow starts, but you've had games where you couldn't get off the field. You have your team captain meeting, and I think we need to put this out there because you and I have talked about it behind the scenes, and I'm starting to see every week because of all the drama that's going around, like people keep bringing up, oh, like they had a team, players only meeting this week. Like that's what you guys do every Monday, right? Like it's not
every
like
Monday.
There's not like some drama behind the scenes where you guys really have to come together and get everybody on the same page because things are going off the rails. Like that's normal standard operating
Yeah, we do it every
procedure,
week. Yeah, we do that every week, and that's, like I said, somebody always wants to be that guy or that person to, say that, oh, they had to have a meeting to talk about what happened last week or something like that. But little do they know we do that every week. Every Monday before the team meeting, we have a player meeting just to address, certain stuff throughout the week or in the past week or what we have to do better at. And that's simply what it is. It's just a 10-minute player meeting, and that's every week. Like, I don't know why people blow it out of proportion.
Because of clicks, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, click. I'm telling you.
Well, just like us, we, if you want to say something terrible, we'll promote it, on the YouTube channel. It'll, our subscribers are already through the roof, but we'll take more. So, you want to talk some trash about Zach Evans or something, go ahead. I'll give you the floor. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that. Media's already been canceled once. We don't need more media. We don't need name, image, likeness canceled, all right? So let me ask you, is that something you guys are starting to focus on to talk about is getting off to better starts? Because obviously that Texas game, you're watching that and you're like, wow, this team looks almost, I hate to say it, but, my head was like, how can a team be this unprepared to start a game?
Yeah, and like you said, we've been focusing on starting faster, because like Coach emphasized, like we got the finish part down. Like, we want to emphasize starting faster because, it just hasn't happened for us yet with initially starting fast with 3 and out or a takeaway or something in that realm of things. But like I said, we finish it. But, starting is also important too. You always say, finishing is the most important part, but you got to start as well. You can't just rely on fate or, probability to carry you throughout the rest of the game. And at the end, we got the result we wanted. I wouldn't say we weren't prepared. We just didn't make the plays that were right in front of us, and we didn't home in on our technique. And that's really all it was, because once things started clicking, everyone started to realize, like, okay, this team knows what they're doing. They're prepared for this, and we ended up showing that.
And what I think is pretty interesting, you see Perry on there with a nice play. What's pretty interesting is, like, this game to me, and I'll be honest with you, when my mic didn't work last week, this was the question I was going to ask you, because I remember this OU Texas game a year ago, and it kind of became, for me, a little bit like this is the Isaiah Thomas game. This is the game where, Isaiah really kind of started to emerge, and I remember after that game, because it was like, I think it was Nick in the post game. He was like, it was Isaiah that really kind of inspired us because he kept playing and he kept, making plays out there on the field. And we knew this was before you guys had Ronnie back last year. But it was almost like a game where you kind of, I don't know, came out into the world, as being a difference maker. Yeah,
I addressed that too. That Wednesday or Thursday in our position meeting room to our guys, the edge and the outside linebackers, I told them, I was like, man, this the game last year where I caught my groove, let alone, the defensive line. We just started making plays, getting sacks and TFLs. Like last year, I think we had like 9 sacks in that game. And I was just telling them, man, like, you make plays in this game or you play your best, like, you'll always be remembered. And it's only up from here. And the guys really, took that to heart. And, once I reiterated that in the locker room at halftime, I'm not saying I'm the reason we came back, but I did make some plays. But other than that, though, I emphasized that, and guys really took it to heart. And like I said, I made some plays out there too.
You and I have had we've had some Zoom adventures in the post game.
Yeah.
Or during the week or whatever. I can never get my mic to work. I don't, like, there's so much crap around here, and like then I get on a regular Zoom and I can't even operate. I just feel like such an idiot. You always make me feel so much better.
Go to Kerry Murdoch for one final question for Isaiah. Kerry?
My mic's working, Isaiah.
All right, man, finally.
I'm just going to tell you that right now.
Oh, yeah, I try to.
Okay, so I think, TCU coming up, Zach Evans, a great back coming out of high school, guy that's, been impressive so far this year. Max Duggan, a guy that you guys are going to have to be on your toes. A very mobile quarterback, a guy that makes plays with his feet. And this is a team that, was right there with Texas when they played a couple of weeks ago. I'm curious, do you look at that second half performance against Texas? Essentially you gave up 67. You did give up only 67 yards on the ground. It was you almost stuck him to 3 points in the second half until that late touchdown. But do you think that the Texas game is now a building block for this defense?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And like you emphasized with TCU's running back, he's a good back, similar to Bijan with just how he's explosive, runs through the gaps and, just always looking to fight for extra yards. But, I look at us too as a defense and look at that second half. Like, man, none of that really matters if we do our job and home into what we're good at and our technique instead of trying to be that guy to make a play or being too big for the moment. I mean, letting the moment be too big for us because, like you said, we held them to the offense at 67 rush yards in that second half. And, it could have just been under 100 for the whole game. But, TCU, they're capable, but we're also a good defense too, and we want to do our job and home in on it as well. So I'm not too worried about it. More so worried about us and having to do our job.
Do you sense the intensity of Gary Patterson on the sideline when you play them? Because, he's been known to kind of get after players before.
No, yeah, I definitely do. I know last year at moments I definitely sensed the intensity from him. At times, you'll picture their sideline because, you just want to see their reactions after a play you make or something like that or after a turnover, so to speak. And, man, he rips his guys. He gets after them. And, not necessarily I can sense it, but when I see it, I'm like, oh, I know what he's saying to him or something like that. So, I'm going to try to have him rip as many players as I can on Saturday.
Do you know it all about his musical career?
Oh, yeah, I heard he got some songs that they play in the locker room or something like that, and some of them know it or anything like that. I didn't know he was a singer or whatever.
Yeah, I guess, he put out an album over the Take a Step Back, I think. I tell you what, he's one of my favorite guys, at Big 12 Media Days. He's super nice. He's showing us, pictures on his phone of, when he was playing at, Billy Bob's or something. So, I like him a lot. Know that. He's a really good dude. I like him a lot. Okay, so let me just ask you point blank, with everything that's going on, how do you feel about the overall, mood or just where this team is right now mentally heading into TCU?
Man, mentally, I definitely say focus for sure. Not too really worried about the offensive, controversy that everyone wants to, talk about and get into or whatever. Because, Lincoln always knows what to do. He got us here with 6-0. More so we're just focused mentally on starting and doing our job. We got to start faster because, like I said earlier, we got the finish part down because in every game, besides the Western Carolina game, we had to finish in some form or fashion. So I definitely say mentally, we're focused on starting, all, like I say, doing our job, because, you do your job, 11 men playing football together, we'll get the outcomes and the results that we want.
How, any fallout from last week's revelations about Nick or Jalen?
Nah, Jalen took pride in it. He was like, yeah, and I hope they went home and tried it. And Nick had no shame whatsoever. And guys that I thought they were, Perion for sure. He was upset. He texted me that night after he watched it. He was upset. He said, I'm going to ruin your life after this. He said, you didn't even have to tell your social media. You let the whole world see on YouTube. He took that one hard. And it's just funny, man.
Wait, what did he take? What did Perion take most issue with?
Oh, when I said that he eats it with no hands. That's what drew the line for.
Oh, so he was upset about that. I see.
Yeah, that's what drew the line for him. He was upset. He said he's going to have people thinking he's an animal.
Did he explain, though, how that happened?
Nah, not at all. He was just upset that I let people know. He didn't explain. He was just upset that he was and I had other players going around oh, I hope he don't say this about me and all this and that. Like another player like Jordan Kelly, we call him a mouth breather because Jordan always has his mouth open at all times during the day. It's like his nose is always stuffed and he's just sitting around with this look on his face just with his mouth open. I can't even do it because Jordan just he's a different guy, but we call him a mouth breather. It's upsetting to see actually.
I don't know. I'm just wondering, with Perion, where's the single digit number? Does he think that he's a small guy and he's offended?
Yeah, in Perion, today we were talking about, just athleticism in general. He's like, oh, I got the most bounce over here. I'm the fastest guy over here. He's a big man who wants to be small. He wants to be Marvin Mims, but in reality, he has to be more of an interior Neville Gallimore. And I think it truly upsets. It hurts him. He hates it, but he has to do it.
But that's where he's going to make all his money.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And he doesn't understand it. If it was up to him, he would be 6'4", 200 pounds in the slot going against small DBs. That would be his dream.
Isaiah, there's so much going on. I did want to make this week a big deal. So I do appreciate the time. And I appreciate the non-controversial time that we spent together tonight.
Oh, yeah.
I want to wish you best of luck, TCU. Unless there's something that you wanted to hit on before you get out of here, I always want to give you that opportunity.
Nothing too. Well, actually, this Instagram post that I made last.
Yes.
Yeah,
I know what you're
my
talking
last
about.
Instagram post, man. So I know a lot of people wanted me to elaborate on that, and that came from at the game we were down 28-7, and their O line is just talking. I mean, and they're talking the whole time. And I'm not much of a talker, but Perrion is, like I said, Perrion embraces that, and he's just talking like, man, you guys, y'all got lucky, like we're just all this and that, just talking, whatever you can imagine. That's what Perrion was saying, and specifically, like their guard, Derek Kerstetter, man, and I remember him because at the Army All-American game, he was a Texas commit, I was an OU commit or whatever, and I don't know if he had beef with me or what it was, but I mean, I guess I rubbed him the wrong way, and we just kind of had this mutual understanding that we didn't really like each other. And I know last year he played center. I lined up at nose a little bit, got after him in our little third down package. And then Perrion got a sack on him. And then at the end of the game, I had to spin off the tackle and, hit the quarterback or whatever. And, I just spoke my mind really, man, because it was just something that I had, at the end of the game. I was like, man, they did a lot of talking, but they just couldn't finish it. And I was like, you know what, Perrion? Like, I'm going to go ahead and say this and that. And, the comments were going crazy. Twitter had it on up there and stuff. And fans was loving it. Texas fans were upset. And I was fine with it, man. And I know we could probably pull that up too if they haven't seen it. But, man, I loved it. I loved every bit of it.
I will make sure that hits. I'll make sure that's up when we replay the episode. So, by the way, I did want to ask you about one thing. We were talking about this on the Unofficial 40 podcast today. I'll play you the play here so you can see it. Because I fear that I'm living in Olds land where I just don't get anything. Here's the Marvin Mims touchdown. Okay, so you have to, because I saw some fighting about this, and the Roughnecks are in the way. Okay, so you can kind of see it here, the touchdown. Can you please explain to me what that is? Like, what is that from something? I don't know. Is that from a movie? Is that from like a cartoon? Like, what is that?
I think initially, Braden just picked him up out of pure excitement. And I think Marvin wanted to celebrate and get down. But, in the moment, he wanted to use all the energy he had from scoring a touchdown to celebrate. And he just did the first thing that came to his mind. And it looked like a kid from, like, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory who found a golden ticket. Like, that's what I compared it to. And he was just stoked. And I'm like, everybody's like, all right, Marvin. Like, all right, Braden, you got to put him down or something like that, man. Like, this doesn't look right. And it was just, I loved it though, man. I love the outcome of the play. So
I was like, "There's something I'm missing. Like, this is some pop culture reference that I don't know, and it's driving me crazy."
Nah, I think it's probably a new thing that they're gonna do. I mean, and if it ends up in touchdowns, I'll do it with him. I'll be on the sideline holding Nick, and I'll have him do it, or he hold me up or something. I'll find a way to get involved on it.
Oh, that is like, yeah, you have to have the right pairings because that could go very, very bad.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Isaiah, man, I really appreciate it. It's great being with you as always. I'm glad, I hope the drama settles down heading into game. It's going to be nice having a home game. You must feel like you've been on the road for about a month now.
Yeah, I do. I know we started the season off with 4 straight home games, but then after 2 or 3 weeks of being away, it's like, dang, like when's the last time we played a home game? So it's going to be fun to be out there under the lights on ABC. It'll be fun to have.
All right, man. Hey, another episode in the books. We really appreciate you. Want to wish you the best of luck this weekend. And Mr. Versatile, the show.
Oh, yeah.
Are we need to start calling you the show? Because I think you're the only athlete in America with his own name, image, likeness show.
I think so, too.
Good.
That'd be pretty dope. The first one to have one. I know probably more guys will start doing it or some version of it. So, I mean, I take pride in it.
I mean, you get like people that do Zoom interviews, but man, we do it up right here.
Yeah.
Like we could put this on television, I think.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I'm definitely, a trendsetter, so to speak now.
All right, Isaiah, man, hey, I really appreciate it. Looking forward to talking to you again next week and really looking forward to seeing you out there Saturday night against TCU.
Appreciate it, Kerry. See you guys.